Hey guys, so this is my TTC history video. I got a lot of new subscribers. A lot of you guys weren't following me through the past couple years when I used to make videos. So you guys don't know that this pregnancy did not come easy for me. I have been trying to have a baby for a really long time, and I thought that I would get on and just make a video sharing my past and what I went through on my TTC journey before getting pregnant. If this is the first time you've seen my video, any of my videos, I am 7 months pregnant with a little girl. She is my miracle baby. This is my 5th pregnancy, but I did have 4 miscarriages. So yeah, let me get started. It's probably going to be a long one. But I have always wanted to have kids. I always knew that I wanted to be a mother. When I was 16, I got married, and we did not use any protection the whole 5 years that we were married. And I never, ever got pregnant. But I was young, and I wasn't really too worried about it because I was young and I had years ahead of me. So when that didn't work out, we got divorced, and then I had a couple relationships, but it was nothing serious to where I was trying to have a baby with any of these guys until I met one of my exes. I can't think of how old I was. My sister was pregnant with my nephew, who is 6 now. He's either 6 or 7, so this was like 6 or 7 years ago when I experienced my first miscarriage. I know that it was in the month of October. I definitely remember that. But yeah, I was in a 2-year relationship with my ex, and we were trying to have a baby. At that point, I wasn't very educated on getting pregnant. I just thought that you could have sex whenever. I didn't know that you had to wait for an egg and ovulation, and I didn't know none of that. It wasn't until later that I started doing my research and really thought that there was something wrong that I learned basically about the body and how you actually conceive. So we just ended up getting pregnant, and then it was really a really early miscarriage, because I remember taking the test. I only took one test, and it was one digital, and it said pregnant. And I remember I had called them and told them, I called the OBGYN office that I was at. At the time I didn't have insurance, so I was seeing like this kind of like free clinic type of place, and they were like, yeah, we can get you scheduled in. It was like a couple of weeks later that they wanted me to come in. It wasn't like right away or anything. And so I was like, okay, so hung up the phone and was gonna wait till my appointment came up, and the next day I started to bleed. So I thought to myself, it must have been a bad pregnancy test, or maybe it was wrong, or I didn't think miscarriage because I've never had one before. So I ended up calling her back and telling her, I got my period, maybe that was a bad test or something. She's like, well, just keep your appointment and come in anyway, and we'll take a look at you. So I kept my appointment, and by the time I went in, I had stopped bleeding. I think I only bled for about 4 days, and it was just like a really heavy period with lots of cramps. Cramps that were a little bit worse than, what you would get with a normal pregnancy. Or not. Did I say? You know what I'm trying to say. With a normal period. So yeah, it was just a little bit more blood and a little bit more cramps is what I was feeling. So I wasn't really thinking miscarriage. It was like having a period. But they did tell me, yeah, you were pregnant. It looks like you miscarried. It looked like, everything passed, so you don't have to get a D&C or anything like that. So I was like, oh, okay. So, they told me you can try again, and so we tried and tried and tried to the point where we ended up breaking up. he moved to Florida, which is, or not Florida, California, which is on the other side of where I live. I live in Pennsylvania, and I couldn't leave my family. So he ended up leaving, and so we broke up. But anyway, then, I had a couple of other relationships where I wasn't really trying, but I had started doing research online about miscarriages, and then I started learning about ovulation and looking for EWCM, which is that egg white mucousy stuff that comes out when you're ovulating or getting ready to ovulate. So I was learning about all that. So the next relationship that I got in, which was a serious relationship, I was at the point to where I want a baby, I want a baby, I want a baby. So I had let him know, and he was on board right away. He was like, yeah, I have kids, I don't mind having another one, let's go for it. So within like the first month of us dating, we were already TTCing. We actually moved in with each other too a month after dating, so it went really fast. But he is the one that I had the other 3 miscarriages with. That was definitely a stressful journey. Trying to conceive put so much stress on that relationship. I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. We tried for a year and nothing happened. I knew that it was something that was wrong with me because he already had kids. So I went back to the clinic, or the OB, the free OB that takes you when you don't have insurance, and I said, I've been with my boyfriend for a year, we've been trying to have a baby with no luck, is there anything that you can do? She made me so mad. She didn't check me, she didn't give me blood work, she didn't offer a sperm analysis, she didn't do anything that the other doctor did for me. The only thing she said was, come back when you lose weight. You're overweight, and that could cause infertility. And she looked at my boyfriend at the time and said he should probably lose weight too. So I was so mad. He was so mad. And I was like, I cannot believe she won't help us. Like, I felt like she was just so mean. I felt like she was looking down on us. I mean, yeah, we didn't have a lot of money, and but that didn't mean that we didn't deserve to have a baby. So I just felt like in her eyes we were trash. So I never went to that place again, and even to this day I have never ever went back there. My sister ended up giving me her OBGYN's phone number, and I was so terrified because I did not have insurance, really didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I kind of went back and forth with going to see this doctor. But I finally did, and I just thought to myself, I'll just go, make an appointment, see what he says, and we'll go from there. So I went to see him. He's just a regular OBGYN. It's the same place I go to now for my prenatal appointments and stuff. Sorry, there's somebody driving by with music. They got on the ball right away. He ordered blood work and did an exam on me. They had my boyfriend go and do a sperm test, and I mean, he was like, let's go, we're gonna get this done. I was so happy. The sperm test came back. He had low motility, but they said it wasn't low enough to where I wouldn't get pregnant, that we would still be able to conceive. So he wasn't worried about that. I, on the other hand, was like looking stuff up online, buying him vitamins and making him drink orange juice and like all this stuff that I was reading online for guys that had low sperm motility. And you know how it is when you're TTCing and you're trying everything, you're online, trying everything that everybody else tries and swears works. But So he did the blood work, and the blood work came back that my progesterone was low. So he decided to let us try Clomid for 6 months. And so he said that if the Clomid didn't work, that he would have to refer me to a fertility clinic, because Clomid was the only thing that they offered as far as trying to have a baby. So I tried the Clomid for the 6 months, and I was also put on progesterone suppositories each month, which sucked. I ended up getting pregnant. I believe it was my 2nd and my 4th month on the Clomid. I can't remember which 2 months it was, but I know I got pregnant twice on the Clomid, and both times it was an early miscarriage. My HCG levels were not very high at all. I know they were under 100 both times. It was very early, and they wouldn't even give me an ultrasound because they said that nothing would show up in the uterus with my HCG level being so low. So they said it would be so small we wouldn't even be able to see it with an ultrasound. But they did confirm with blood tests that I was indeed pregnant. But my HCG levels dropped with both pregnancies very quickly. So they were very quick early pregnancies, or quick early miscarriages. I did not get a DNC with either one, which I was very surprised and shocked, because my sister had a miscarriage and they gave her a DNC, and that was her first miscarriage. But I just follow what the doctor said, and I ended up getting pregnant again after the Clomid was over. I took the last pill for the 6th month and got, my period. And then the 7th month, which would be the first month without the Clomid, is when I got pregnant. I was so happy because I got pregnant on my own and it wasn't with the Clomid. So I had hope that, maybe we could do this without the help of a doctor. We did end up going to a fertility clinic, but it was so expensive that we couldn't afford it. So we just decided not to go see this doctor. I mean, we went down there. We had to drive like an hour and a half, and we went down there to go talk to him, and he gave us hope, and he said that he was gonna get us pregnant. And he ordered some blood work, which cost like $2,000 just for the blood work. And I had what was that called? An HS. Oh, it was something where they dilate your cervix, and they put like this fluid through it to make sure that your tubes were open. I had that test done. Can't remember what it was called. And I had a fibroid on my left side, which was blocking one of the tubes, so he couldn't see if it was open or not because the fibroid was so big and it was in front. But he said for sure the other one was open and I could still get pregnant with that one open tube. So I had hope. I ended up getting pregnant, and it ended up being an ectopic pregnancy. So that was crazy. It started out just a normal pregnancy, was on the progesterone suppositories, and then I started bleeding. They told me that it was a miscarriage. My HCG levels, I think, were like 200 or something, and then the second time when I went back, they had dropped. And then they had stopped taking my levels, and I was just went home and went through the miscarriage process, so I thought. And then I noticed that the bleeding wouldn't stop. I kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and then it stopped for like a day, and then it would come back for a week. And I was like, what is going on with this? I'm like, maybe I had too many miscarriages, or maybe my body is all messed up. from all the things that I've been trying on the internet to get pregnant, because I've tried like maca root, and I tried fertility tea, just any freaking remedy that I could find online to try and get pregnant. I tried it. And I thought maybe I screwed my body up. So finally I called them and I said, you know, I'm still bleeding from this miscarriage a month ago. So they had me come in and they checked my HCG levels, and then they checked it again, I think it was 2 days later, and my levels were exactly the same. They weren't going up and they weren't going down. So they had ruled it as a ectopic pregnancy. I wasn't having pain, just normal cramping, like, you know, when you bleed, but I wasn't in like excruciating pain like a lot of people say they are with ectopic pregnancies. I did end up going to the hospital. They sent me straight from the doctor's office to the hospital, and I had to get 2 shots in my butt. The shots were called methotrexate, which what it does is terminates the pregnancy. It helps the body absorb the pregnancy. And so I was about between 7 and 8 weeks pregnant by the time they figured out it was ectopic. So I'm glad that I didn't lose a tube or anything. I don't know if it had something to do with the fibroid. Maybe the fibroid wasn't completely blocked like they thought it was, and, you know, a little bit of sperm got through, but the egg didn't. I have no idea what happened. But of course I did not get a D&C with that because it was not in my uterus. So they did do an ultrasound and saw that there was nothing in my uterus, so they just figured it was ectopic. They didn't tell me what side it was on or anything like that. They just ruled it ectopic. So yeah, after that we pretty much gave up. I was still hopeful. I was still taking my ovulation test, but he was so over it by this time, and this was like towards the end of our relationship. He was so over trying to have a baby. He was like, you know, it's driving you crazy, and you're mad all the time, and you're angry, and you're buying all this baby stuff, and you're not even pregnant, you're wasting all this money, it's just not gonna happen. Like, every negative thing was like coming out of his mouth. I got no support. It was like a flip and change. Like, he just totally flip change and didn't want anything to do with trying to have a baby, which I understand, because our relationship had went down the drain because the whole TTC thing was just so hard, and I was stressed and sad all the time, and every month was a disappointment. And he said he hated seeing me that way, hated seeing that look in my face every month when I got my period and going through miscarriages. One of the miscarriages that I had was during our birthday, and that was a really hard one. His birthday was December 2nd, and mine was December 8th, and I was going through a miscarriage at that time. And it was bad. A lot of our fighting was because of me trying to have a baby and failing at it. So if you're TTCing, you have to make sure you have a supportive partner that wants a baby as bad as you do, because if you don't, it's just not gonna work out, trust me. We did ended up breaking up, and then that's when my journey came to an end. How long is this video? 20 minutes. Yeah, I tried to make this as quick as I can because it's a lot, you know, of information, but yeah, I struggled to have a baby for years, a really long time, and it costs a lot of money when you know, when you're going through the infertility thing. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of emotions, a lot of stress, you know, you have your ups and downs, and it's very, very hard. So I know exactly what you women are going through right now if you're TTCing. This pregnancy was not, like, it didn't come easy for me. I mean, yeah, I wasn't trying when I got pregnant, but I had years of heartbreak and miscarriages and sadness and hopelessness and, you know, all those terrible feelings that you feel when you've been trying to have a baby for years. It's different when you've been trying for a year compared to 5 years or 10 years. I mean, it eats away at you. It really does. And a lot of people don't understand that. I found a lot of encouraging friends and stuff on Facebook and YouTube. I started making videos, and I was shocked at how many people in the world there were that were struggling like I was, and being on YouTube really, really helped. And we swapped ideas, watched each other's videos, and even though I'm not in that TTC world anymore, you never know, I might be in the future. You know, I don't know if I'm going to have any more kids, but I definitely know what it feels like. So, yeah, that is a little bit of my history. I tried to give it to you as fast as I could. It still turned out to be a really long video, but yeah, I just wanted to share and let you guys know, you know, I am expecting, finally. I'm still hoping everything's gonna turn out great, which, you know, I'm praying. Hopefully it will, but I think it will. I feel blessed. And honestly, I didn't think it was ever gonna happen for me. I was one of those people that was just like, you know, I'm just not meant to have children. So, but God had another plan for me, and He has a plan for you. So if you are TTCing and you're watching this, do not give up. My advice would be to not let it take over your life, because I did. I let it completely take over my life, and I let it ruin my relationship. And in the end, it worked out. I got pregnant with no problems. And if I knew now what I would have known back then, I would have enjoyed my life a little bit more, and wouldn't have stressed and struggled and be sad. And, you know, if I would have known that eventually it was going to happen. So just live your life and don't let it take over, and let it happen when it happens, you know. So yeah, let me show you. This is my tattoo, and it's a baby on a cloud, and this is for each one of the babies that I lost. So that's how much, even though I was only pregnant for a short time with those babies, they were still my babies. So I had to get something, you know, to remember them by. Because to a lot of people, when you're pregnant and you miscarry, they forget about that was, you know, a baby that was going to be a person that was going to be in this world. They don't think like we do, you know. I still think about my babies and what they would look like and how they would be right now and things like that. But I think only a mother would think like that. So even though you did lose your babies, you still think about them. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling now and try to get this video uploaded. If you have any questions, you can comment below, and I will do my best to answer them and get back to you guys. And hopefully you enjoyed this video and I didn't bore you to death. But that's just a little bit of my back history of what I went through to become a mother. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.